to the Room 222 interview show.
Today's guest is Mr. Kulikowski. He is a vice principal at our school.
When is your birthday? How old are you? Where were you born?
Okay, so my birthday is November 5th, and 1973 is the year that I was born, which makes me 45 years old.
Oh
I know, very old.
wow.
And what was the last question?
Where were you born?
Oh, good question. I was born in Toronto, actually. I was born at a hospital called East General Hospital, which is still a hospital today, and it's in the East York area of Toronto.
What is your favorite thing to do when you were at school? Why?
I think my favorite thing to do when I was at school was to go outside and play for recess, right? Does everyone enjoy that one? And of course I liked being really active. I was very involved with a lot of sports and teams, and I really liked language when I was growing up. When I was a kid, I really liked language especially. It was my favorite subject.
What was your teacher's name when you were in grade 2?
So the teacher's name when I was in grade 2 was Miss Mighton, and I actually had her for 2 years in a row. I had her for grade 1 and grade 2. And I think if you asked, I could probably name all of the teachers I had right up through to high school. I'm pretty sure I remember them all.
When you were little, what did you want to be? When you grew up, why?
You know what, I actually always wanted to be a teacher when I was growing up, and I think because when I was a little kid, in the summer times, I always went to day camp. I went to day camp every time it was summertime, and also at March break and after school programs, and I always saw the leaders that I was around, and I always thought of them as they were my teachers. And so teaching is always something that I wanted to do, believe it or not. And of course, always wanted to be a baseball player. That was the other. Plan B.
Before you were a teacher, what was your job?
I had lots of jobs. I worked with kids, and I myself worked at camps. I worked at lots of different stores when I was in university, and I did a lot of other things. Like I worked for a landscaping company, so we used to do everything from cutting grass and maintaining people's property to building fences and things like that. So I did a lot of construction work too.
Why did you want to be a teacher?
I think I just really liked working with children. I think that when you get a chance to work with children, my feeling is it always keeps you very young. I get to be part of working with kids, and every teacher will tell you that we always learn more from the kids than they learn from us. So when I come to school, even now as a vice principal, and I see things like the activities that you're involved with, the games you're playing, the songs you're singing. Before I came to Davisville, I never heard the song Baby Shark, right? And I know that's a big thing. I know lots of kids really like that song. And so the best part about being a teacher, the thing I like most about it, is the fact that I get a chance to interact with all of you every day, and I get a chance to learn from you, and that's the most fun part of my day, for sure.
What is the best part about being a teacher? Why? What was the hardest part? Why?
So again, I think the best part is the fact that I get to work with and be around lots of kids. I also get to be part of an amazing staff. So when we see our teachers around the building, I get to interact with them as well and learn from them. And then the second part, Jamie, of your question was what again? Can you repeat it?
What was the hardest part? Why?
Oh, the hardest part of my job. I think the hardest part of my job is when problems happen in our school, and they could be problems that have to do with the building, or maybe it's problems between kids sometimes, or there's problems with the bus. The hardest part is that I'm not always in control of those things, and I can't always fix them. So my first instinct is to try and always make sure that the problems are fixed. But sometimes those things are problems that I can't control, and I have to then find who it is that I have to speak with in order to make those problems go away. And we want good solutions for everybody. So that's probably the hardest part. But that's part of my job, and so I have to sort of, whenever we have things that we don't want to do, We just have to go in and do them, right? And we have to have a good attitude about it, and we have to try our best to solve problems when they happen.
What is your favorite color?
Oh, that's an easy one. My favorite color is red. I don't know why. I just like it so much.
What is your favorite sport? Why?
Well, I'm going to give you two sports, and I'm going to tell you the reasons for both. So my favorite sport to play is probably rugby. I played a lot of rugby when I was growing up, which is a very, very hard game, a very physical game. And I like it because it's very free-flowing. It doesn't have a lot of whistles. It's a game that continually goes, and it's something that I really enjoyed. The physical part of the game was a very hard sport. And the other sport I like is hockey, and I love watching and playing hockey now. And it's a little bit easier on my body to play hockey than a sport like rugby, which is a very, very hard game to play. So those are my two favorites, though.
What is your favorite food? Why?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. If I had to pick one favorite food, I would probably say pasta. I really like pasta, especially lasagna. Lasagna is probably my favorite. And it's just so warm and comforting, right? When you bite into a nice piece of lasagna and have those layers of noodles and all the yummy cheese, it's probably my favorite.
Do you have any children? If yes, say tell us more.
Yeah, so I have two children myself. I have a daughter who's 14. She's in grade 9. And I have another daughter who's 9 years old, and she's in grade 4. The older one's name is Madison, and my younger daughter's name is Mia. And they are wonderful kids. They're very well behaved. They get great marks in school. We're very proud of them at home. And they're both very involved in athletics. My older daughter plays volleyball, and she plays at a very high level, and she's very successful. And my younger daughter plays hockey, and she too is doing really well with her athletics. And as a parent, it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's a sport or whether it's another activity or club or just even in school. I will tell you that one thing a parent, from my perspective, parents love watching their kids do great things. They love seeing their children achieve, and they always want the best for them. And I think that your parents would probably agree with me that that's the best part of being a parent, is watching your child, your son or daughter, whoever it is, do amazing things in the world and be successful at whatever it is they choose.
Tell us more.
Well, I think that the one thing that I'm most proud about from my kids is that they are very polite to all of the people that they come into contact with. I've never ever had a call from a principal or a teacher saying that my child was involved in anything that was, they never really made any big mistakes that needed to be a phone call home. That doesn't mean they haven't done it. That just means they didn't get caught doing it sometimes, right? They're not angels. I'm sure they've made mistakes. All kids make mistakes. And that's one part of my job, is that when kids make mistakes, and teachers' jobs, when kids make mistakes, we just help them learn from it. And that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. I know that my kids have made mistakes too. And I'm sure they've learned from them, and we help them at home to learn and make sure that they're not making mistakes.
What is your favorite children's movie? Why?
Oh, my favorite children's movie. Let me think. I really liked the movie Frozen, if you could believe it or not. It was and I just heard on the radio this morning that next year, I think in November, there's going to be a sequel. A sequel is a part 2 of the movie Frozen. So I don't know if you've seen the movie Frozen, but I think there's going to be another one that comes out. Did you see it? Yeah, it's going to be, I'm excited for that one.
Do you have a pet? If yes, tell us more. If no, why not?
I actually don't have any pets in our house right now. In the past, I have had a dog, and I love animals. I love all kinds of pets. Growing up, we had different pets in our house, and I really like animals. But I will tell you that in our house right now, we are so busy between work and between going to all the different sports that my kids are involved with. We feel that it would be irresponsible for us to have a pet if we can't take care of it properly. And that means, You know, if you have a dog, you have to walk it, or you have to make sure the kitty litter's changed regular. And we just feel like it wouldn't be fair to have a pet right now if we're not there to be responsible for it. Because pets are part of your family, and you need to take care of them, just like, you know, if you had a child.
Why not?
Yeah, so again, I think that just we would be irresponsible if we had one, and weren't able to take care of it properly. We wouldn't want that.
What is your favorite animal? Why?
My favorite animal is probably a polar bear, because when I go to the zoo, I love seeing polar bears play and roll around. It just looks like they're having so much fun. Even though they're in a zoo, I can always imagine them in the wild and how they can just enjoy those really cold temperatures and just sort of, you know, march around and be very, you know, present in their environment and so on. I just know that when I see them playing at the zoo and they, you know, they put the ball in there or they're rolling around or they're swimming, and I guess it's just the way their faces are positioned, it just looks like they always have a smile, and it makes me think they're having a good time. And so I like polar bears the best.
Thank you so much for being in our show today.
Join us next time for the interview show on the Room 222 interview show.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.